Who needs him the most, Don?
Well, Chelsea, Man United and Man City, but I see it being a Man City fit. I think City or United, if they're going to really go for him, I don't see him going to Chelsea. I do not see him making that move. I think he's too loyal to Tottenham to go to Chelsea. But I think, I don't agree it'll end up being 150. I don't think in this pandemic, in this market, it'll be 150 will be the number. I think it'll be far less than that. I think you're looking at about 120. But I think what Man City and what Man United are going to do in negotiations, they're going to have to offer some players. They're going to have to try and offer Tottenham 2 or 3, decent players to try and whittle it down to something like 90, because it's still a lot of money to pay. But it might not seem too bad if you're all of a sudden giving Spurs 2 or 3 players and you're paying in and around 80, 90. I know it's ludicrous money, but in football terms, it's not for one of the very best in the world. So they're going to have to be creative.
But Don, is it not ignorant?
If you're honest with yourself and hey, Dan, if you think about this, Harry Kane's in an absolute nightmare position. We're thinking, well, he's going to ask for a transfer because that's what he needs, that's what he deserves. Jules is telling us he ain't going to any teams in England, and yet we're sitting here talking about, well, Man City can do this and United can do that. So if he's not allowed to go to any of those teams,
but he will.
And Erling Haaland, as you said, is available for 70 million, 75 million. He's not going to Europe either. He's going to be starting the season the most unhappiest centre-forward in the club's history because he ain't going anywhere. And everybody's going to be questioning how... Everybody's going to be questioning him. Oh, is his heart in it? He wants a win. No, he wants away. I mean, he's in an absolutely horrible position. How unlucky is he?
It's not that unlucky. I mean... From what I hear, he had the conversation last summer to try and leave, and Jose persuaded him to stay for a year because Jose thought he could get Tottenham a trophy. So he's been loyal. He stayed the extra year. We've seen many players stay one more year because you try and get sucked into the club and maybe sucked into a new manager. But he's not unlucky when he's going to go for 120 million quid and he's going to fill his boots, either Man City or Man United.
But is he? That's what I'm saying.
Of course he is.
That's what I'm saying,
is he?
Of course
he's going to go. Well, of course he is.
So Daniel Levy is going to turn around and get 120 million from who? Can you please tell me who? Because if we're saying that he can't go to Chelsea, United, Liverpool or City, you please tell me who's going to do that when Erling Haaland's sitting there ready.
Yeah, but
Barcelona doesn't have the money. Jules is talking about Real Madrid might be able to scrape it up. Okay. PSG maybe has it, but do they? Because they've still got Mbappe, they've still got
Harry
Neymar.
Kane wants to stay.
I think Harry Kane's in this horrible spot.
So, Jules,
Harry Kane wants to stay in England.
Sorry, Don. Let's just focus on what Stevie says. Obviously, Spurs, in an ideal world, don't want to sell him to another Premier League club. However, if someone comes along with 150 million, they're going to take it.
Of course they are. And if Harry Kane has spoke to his agent and he's aware of one of the 3 clubs that we've just mentioned in England are really serious about taking him, Harry Kane knocks on the door to Daniel Levy and he says, I've given you unbelievable service, but however long Harry Kane's been at Tottenham, forever, I've been incredibly loyal, I've scored all the goals, I've tried my utmost, I want to go away from this football club. At the end of the day, Daniel Levy will have to sell him. He can't afford to try and get into a slanging match with Harry Kane and Harry Kane at the start of the season says, well, I'm not going to play. And then he's sitting on the bench. That's not going to happen. Harry Kane's not that type of person, I don't think. That's not in his makeup.
Right, let's...
But go on.
I just want to bring it into the studio on Don's point, Manchester City. Why bother? You've won the title without a striker. You're in the Champions League final without a striker. 150 million is a lot of money. Is that really where you want your focus to be?
And guess what? 120 million, still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you've proven that that is not a position that you need in order to win and win big time, at the big level. Whether I think they need a striker or not, that's irrelevant. I would play with a striker always, but they don't. And Pep Guardiola doesn't. And he doesn't believe that they need a striker in order to win, and it's been proven to be correct. From the perspective of Harry Kane, there seems to be a sentimental connection between him and Spurs, right? And so perhaps, maybe, it's in the best interest of Harry Kane to not be in England, to not be in the Premier League. And if indeed he's looking elsewhere, and we're just assuming that he's looking elsewhere, this is just speculation, why not PSG? If this seems to be a team that has the money, and it's Mbappe, Neymar, Kane, that's a lot to be excited about, and Pochettino, who you've already worked with. I'm just thinking that if you're looking for a way out and a pathway that does not include a Premier League team, that seems to be the most obvious choice.
So am I being naive here, Jules, if I'm talking about PSG as a brand? How much does Harry Kane actually move the needle?
So I think he would want to stay in England to start with. Okay. However, if that is not possible for many reasons that we discussed, PSG is very appealing for a few things. The first one, of course, is Mauricio Pochettino, who was a father figure to him, who he's the guy who started him, who gave him confidence, who said to him, don't worry if you don't score at the beginning, it will come, and once one comes, then all the rest will come. And he owes a lot to Mauricio, and they were so close to the point that Harry Kane was close to tears when Mauricio left and was sacked. That is big. If Pochettino picks up the phone and says to Harry Kane, listen, we can do this deal. Come with me. Come to Paris. We will play in a very similar way to what we used to at Spurs. Of course, Ligue 1 is not as great to win than the Premier League. I get that. But Pochettino could be a difference-making if Kane is open to working with him again, which that he would. The second thing is, for a club like PSG, who is trying to convince Kylian Mbappe to stay at the club, you've extended Neymar already. What Kylian wants right now is assurances that you can stay competitive for seasons to come. So not by signing Danilo Pereira or Ander Herrera, although I like them, but by signing Harry Kane, you show Mbappe, listen, this is what we can do. We can make you play with maybe the best striker, one of the top 3 strikers in the world right now, and this is how serious we are about making a team around you that will help you win the Champions League, for example, or whatever. I don't know if they can financially, because if you keep Neymar and Mbappe, and on top of that, add Harry Kane with 150 million euros transfer fee plus easily around 400,000 a week or 350,000 a week in wages, that's certainly a lot of money for PSG. However, if they thought they could do Messi, I can't see why they might not be able to think that they can do Kane too. But it's still, again, it's still a long way, like for all the other clubs.
Right, let's do this quickly. Jules, where's he going to be at the start of the season?
Manchester City.
Don?
Well, PSG are absolutely dreaming if they think they get Harry Kane into French football. That's not going to happen because he wants to break Alan Shearer's Premier League record. Man City.
Right, no time to... Right, Stevie?
Tottenham.
Ali Moreno.
Spurs, baby. Spurs.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.